Imagine a stadium, tens of thousands of spectators. The crowd roars. An athlete crosses the finish line. Now, picture the year, 1900 BC, Egypt, and the athlete is a woman. Women played sports across the ancient world, and we don't talk about it. This is the half of history nobody bothered to write down. Culture 1. Egypt, almost 4,000 years ago. In the cliffs along the Nile, at a place called Beni Hasan, ancient Egyptians cut tombs into the rock, and they painted the walls with scenes from daily life. Among those paintings, women juggling balls in midair, performing acrobatics, wrestling each other, dancing with the strength of athletes. Not one painting, not two, hundreds of images of women in athletic motion, painted onto tomb walls that survive to this day. Why tombs? Because ancient Egyptians believed the scenes painted in your tomb would continue in the afterlife, which means someone wanted to spend eternity watching women play. These were not random acts. They were trained athletes, performing specific disciplines, juggling, wrestling, acrobatics, gymnastics, in front of audiences, as entertainment, as ritual, as skill on display. This is the oldest visual evidence of women as athletes in human history, and they were Egyptian women, 1,000 years before the Greeks invented the Olympics. Culture 2, Greece. In 776 BC, the first Olympic Games are held at Olympia. Male athletes, representing their city-states, compete for olive crowns. Women are forbidden from competing. Married women are forbidden from even watching, on penalty of death. But there was another festival, the Heraean Games, held at the same stadium at Olympia, dedicated to the goddess Hera. Foot races, for women, held every 4 years. At the most sacred athletic site in the Greek world, 3 age categories, young, middle, and oldest maidens, on the same track as the men's Olympics, a track 1/6 shorter than the men's, corresponding to the average shorter stride of a woman, organized by a council of 16 women, one from each city of the region. These same 16 women also wove a ceremonial robe for the goddess every 4 years, and the winners received the same prize as the male Olympic victors, an olive crown, a portion of the cow sacrificed to Hera, and the right to dedicate statues of themselves at the temple of Hera, their names inscribed on the columns. And if you visit the temple of Hera today, you can still see the cuts where their portraits once hung, small marks in 2,600-year-old stone. Where ancient women's portraits once hung, most of their names are lost to time, but one name survives, a mythical figure named Chloris, said to be the first Heraean victor. How long did these games last? Possibly as old as the men's Olympics themselves, lasting for at least 600 years, until they were suppressed in the Christian era for their pagan associations. 6 centuries of young women running at Olympia, 6 centuries of victors, 6 centuries of olive crowns, and most people have never heard of them. Culture 3, Sparta. Sparta was different from the rest of Greece. Spartan girls, unlike Athenian girls, trained in athletics from childhood, alongside the boys. Spartans believed stronger children came from strong mothers, so they trained their daughters like they trained their sons. Out of that system came a woman named Cynisca, a Spartan princess, daughter of one king, sister to another. And she loved horses, she owned a large estate, she bred, raised, and trained racehorses. And she noticed something about the Olympic rules. Women couldn't compete directly in the Olympics, couldn't even attend as spectators. But in the 4-horse chariot race, the winner was not the man driving the chariot. The winner was the person who owned the horses. Cynisca saw the loophole. In 396 BC, she entered her horses in the Olympic chariot race. She hired a male charioteer to drive them, because women couldn't physically compete, and she won. The first woman in history to win at the Olympic Games. 4 years later, at the next Olympics, she did it again. She won the chariot race twice, in consecutive Olympic Games, and then she did something no woman had ever done. She erected a statue of herself at the temple of Zeus in Olympia. Inscribed on it, in her own words, were these: "Kings of Sparta are my father and brothers. I, Cynisca, victorious with a chariot of swift-footed horses, declare that I am the only woman in all Hellas to have won this crown." That inscription survives. 2,400 years later, you can read her voice. She knew she was the first, and she wanted everyone, across 24 centuries, to know it too. And other women followed her: Euryleones, Bellistiche, Timareta, each one Olympic victors in their own right. Culture 4. Rome, the arena. When most people picture a Roman gladiator, they picture a man. But history tells another story. Women fought in the Roman arena. They were called gladiatrices. Singular, gladiatrix. The evidence is real. A marble relief from Turkey shows 2 female gladiators, Amazon and Achillea, receiving their release from service. Roman writers documented them. The Emperor Domitian featured them in his games, fighting at night, by torchlight. The Emperor Nero featured them as entertainment. Some were enslaved women trained as fighters. Some were wealthy free women, even from senatorial families, who chose the arena. They trained with the same weapons, the same techniques, the same discipline. They fought in full combat, against other women, sometimes against wild animals. The crowd loved them. They were spectacle. They were novelty. They were celebrated. And then, in 200 AD, the Emperor Septimius Severus banned women from the arena, forever. But read that carefully. He banned the women. Men kept fighting, for another 200 years. Why did he ban the women? Not because of the violence. The men kept doing that. According to the Roman historian Cassius Dio, the crowd had made vulgar jokes about the female fighters, and Severus decided that letting women fight in the arena was teaching the crowd to disrespect all women. So he removed the women to protect their dignity. The men were the problem. The women paid the price. That is the systematic logic of every erasure in this video. 4 cultures, 4,000 years, one pattern. Women played sports. Wherever men competed, women competed too, in different forms, with different rules, in different arenas, but they played. And then, the erasure. Egyptian tomb paintings sealed in cliffs, forgotten for millennia. The Heraean games suppressed and forgotten by historians. Cynisca dismissed for centuries as a curious anomaly. Gladiatrices banned by imperial decree, then dismissed by later historians as legend. But the evidence survives. Hundreds of Egyptian paintings, still on the tomb walls, cuts in Greek temple columns, where the portraits of Heraean victors once hung. Cynisca's inscription, still readable in stone. 2,400 years after she carved it. 4 cultures, 4,000 years. Women played, and the stones kept their secret, until somebody finally bothered to look. That's the half of history nobody bothered to write down. And I'm going to keep telling it. Next video, how young some ancient brides really were. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm telling the stories nobody wrote down. See you in the next one.